I don't... Welcome back. I don't remember where I'm going. It's been a few minutes since I played. I think... This actually, but she doesn't seem to be interested in getting to know me better. Okay. Now that I submitted, I should report to Captain Talia. Okay. Here we go. Chief, I saw you submitted your results. The origin of the paper will have to wait. We first need to focus on meeting at the arrival day event that was mentioned in the letter. The Earth Museum just opened the doors and the event is about to start. You suspect that the letter was addressed to Lewis after all. Good work. We'll bug him and send him in once you give us the go-ahead. Now, listen closely. There will be people around the museum dressed in their work attire as part of the event. One of them must be the contact mentioned in the letter. Go to the event and have another look at everything we found out and tell us who. As soon as you submitted your conclusions, we'll send the suspect in to talk to them and get more information. Keep your distance from that point on. Sergeant Aldrich will be talking you through all of it, but don't let people see you with your earpiece. If you arouse suspicion, or if our suspect talks to the wrong person, we might lose our chance to find out who is behind all this. I understand, Captain. Good luck, Chief. Okay, so cases... Alright, I have to get to the event at the Earth Museum and find out the identity... Okay, so the other thing is... Here, so we're looking for the circle with the arrow. So, welcome back. If you remember in the previous case, they told us that someone was going to be wearing that outfit, or wearing that symbol. I know it's been a hot minute since I played, and I had to refresh my memory too. We're standing by the next door, Chief. I hope you can hear me all right over the music. We assume that the contact is one of the people in work attire. They prepared some kind of presentation. Let's try to make our move before it starts. Go over all the information you gathered and find out which of the participants our suspect is supposed to talk to. If you're not sure yet, talk to them and see if that narrows it down somehow. But be careful not to blow your cover. If they suspect we're onto them, they might no longer respond to the code word. Good luck, Chief. Once you submitted the file, we'll send the suspect in. You got this, Stell. Evidence. Previous letter. It says you're contacted because Lewis. This information is based solely. Category 2 profession. Again, thank you for your message. Come to Earth Day and talk to one of the job. Mention the word freedom. Bella! That's a nice surprise. I didn't expect to see you here. Oh, you know, I thought it sounded interesting. That means a lot coming from an introvert like you. The event is about to start. It's all about how jobs in the Zephyr will be useful on USD and how some will transform. Our presenters are dressed in their work attire already, so feel free to ask them anything that they want. And we also prepared this infographic right there with more information on the topic. We don't have time for this, Chief. Try to cut it short. I will. Check it out, I mean. Hope you have a good time. Happy Arrival Day. Happy Arrival Day. engineers and programmers means category 2 jobs, so engineers and programmers. Evening, Chief. Sorry, I need to practice my speech now. Right now, I'm nervous. As a biologist, I only... Okay. Programmer Aaron, you're part of this event as well? Yeah, I volunteered to talk about some programming challenges that will face us once we approach, you know, the real arrival day. Well, not us. Us. More like my future kid's future kid. But it's important that I have an understanding of it today. Won't technology change a fair bit over the next 100 years? It does all the time, but I keep up with the Earth's yearly updates. Just recently started working my way through some literature they sent us this year's Arrival Day package. See? It's nice that you're so passionate about it. Dear visitors, thank you for coming. Thank you so much for coming to the Earth Museum on this very special Arrival Day. We have invited important people from across the population to share insights into their jobs and the role they play in the mission. I hope it will fill you with some pride and determination that my daughter felt when putting it all together. The presentation will begin shortly. In the meantime, feel free to chat and mingle with each other and our exciting volunteers. Engineer Geraldo. Now that's an outfit I've never seen before. That's no surprise. I don't often have an opportunity to put it on. It's designed for the vacuum of space. I most often put it on in the outer hall, but I've engaged in some rare AVA as well. Due to my special training, I'm often referred to as an astronaut here on the ship. But to everybody back on Earth, we're all technically astronauts. Programming jobs, engineers and programmers, biologist, astronaut. Fancy seeing you here, Chief. Time to learn about our future jobs? Well, human production sounds interesting. We aren't very involved with the fun part, I'm sorry to say. But if you have any questions about concocting fetuses from 2 genetic donors and raising them in artificial wombs, being in space makes it a little harder, but not all that much as long as we all have artificial gravity. We've come to hear about our medical challenges that await us on a new planet. You wouldn't believe the number of unexpected things that could wipe us out once we make contact with an entirely new ecosystem. We've never had an opportunity to build up an immunity to any of it. And conversely, we may just bring the next Black Death to URSD animal and plant population. Isn't that motivating? Talk to them, we talk to them. Good evening, Historian Baptiste. Chief, I hope you're going to enjoy this little presentation we put together for tonight. I'll briefly talk about us historians and our role in documenting the first steps our species will ever take on an exoplanet. It's only a century away, which is basically tomorrow in the grand scheme of things. Let me read a little excerpt from my script. Oh, that's okay, thank you. I'll hear it in a minute anyway. None of them had any... Okay, I found the infographic. I thought the different might help me narrow down the suspects. Okay, farmer, category, or trans and artists. Okay, that's not them. Engineers and programmer. Could be the guy that's female. enter. What do I say to get his attention? Faces. Everything is ready. I should head over there now. Okay. It's too pixely that I can't see the circle. I mean, I suspect it's this guy here. I'm confused. I don't know what to do. I don't want to show them anything. Okay, I'm gonna say it's gotta be this guy. He's the only one in the two that makes sense. Report achieved, or report received. Looks like you identified a possible contact. We'll send our suspect in to strike up a conversation. Step away and give them privacy, but keep an eye. Sergeant, you're cutting out. Sergeant? Everybody stay calm. I'm sure it's just a... bad to worse. Right the first act. What? Where am I? Chief, good to have you back. How do you feel? Dr. Dustina, my head hurts. What happened? The ring had a malfunction and they were flung into the wall. Like almost everyone. But you were lucky, no concussions or anything. What are you saying? Is the ship alright? I'm not sure. We're still waiting for official statement from the captain. It was like the power suddenly went out and then the whole ship rebooted. What's the situation? How serious are people's injuries? We can barely keep up, to be honest. Many people were hurt. Some are in critical condition. And not everyone made it. Ooh. Mina, Frederica, Nadia, and Elias so far. Secretary Elias? I'm so sorry. We did what we could. Some people are still in critical condition, and a few are missing. How long was I out? They brought you in about 8 hours ago. I have to go to the bridge, talk to the captain. From a medical perspective, it'd make sense if you don't have time to rest. I need to find out what happened.
As soon as I was back on my feet, I checked my PDA and found a message from the captain. She wanted me to come see her on the bridge. I decided to take the long way around the ring and assess the damage on my way.
Oh, she's moving all
Broken
around.
objects were scattered everywhere. Some walls were covered in fresh dents and splattered liquids. A large chunk of the population had been injured. Once or twice, I believed to catch someone glancing at me. I was ashamed that I hadn't been around to help everyone right after the incident. I wanted to say something to the people, but instead I lowered my head and picked up the pace. My sense of balance was off. I tripped and almost fell multiple times. Finally, I made it to the bridge and, to my relief, immediately spotted my sergeants and the captain in relatively good shape.
Chief. Captain Talia, sergeants, what happened? We're still evaluating the situation. Something caused a power outage across the entire ship. This caused the ring to slow down and stop temporarily. It spun back up within less than a minute, but the resulting force was massive. It left many injured and some dead. However, the ship itself does not seem to have sustained any critical damage. There are some issues, however. For one, the navigation system isn't back online yet. The navigators are working on it. A major water line was damaged, flooding the inner hull sections C and D. We had to seal them off until the engineers report back. We don't know what caused the power outage. We need answers fast, so I can address the population. I'm counting on you to find them, Chief. With all due respect, Captain, this sounds like a rather technical question. The engineers are working out of the technical side of things. However, we cannot rule out foul play. You really think someone would? That's what I want you to find out. Sergeant Paul, you already collected some relevant information? Yes, Captain. There are 4 power nodes on the ship, 1 on each section of the inner hull. Chief, you've been granted clearance to enter these rooms. However, as the captain mentioned, inner hull C and D are currently inaccessible. The ship-wide outage was actually a chain reaction originating... The ship-wide outage was actually a chain reaction originating at one of the 4 nodes. We can find out which power node was the first to go out. We are a lot closer to identifying the cause of the outage. Got it. One more thing. According to our logs, a ship-wide alarm went off after the 2 first nodes failed. Maybe this can help us reconstruct the timeline? So what you're saying is 2 nodes went out, then the alarm started. And lastly, the other 2 nodes failed. Correct, but none of them went out at the exact same time. It all happened in quick succession. That's all we know so far. About our sting operation that was cut short before the incident, there's no doubt that Engineer Lewis was exchanging these suspicious letters. He was interrogated again by enforcers while you were incapacitated. Seems like he truly doesn't know anything relevant yet, as his first in-person contact was yet to take place. We placed him back in the brig for the time being. And about the contact at the event, it seems that you were right about Engineer Geraldo. He disappeared in the terminal and hasn't resurfaced yet. Maybe he decided to go into hiding after seeing our presence at the Earth Museum. The enforcers are out looking for him. If there's nothing else, you should get to work now. There is something, Captain. I'm so sorry about Secretary Elias. He was a good man. Thank you. He was. Dismissed. Okay. That didn't get me where to go. Okay, where do I want to go? I want to go down. Let me out. Looks a little banged up, doesn't she? broken PDA smeared with blood. I found it on the floor. Somebody seems to have lost it in the power node room in the inner hole B. Looks really banged up, but there are traces of blood on it. Can't go that way. Oh hey, did you say something? It's so loud in here. Recyclers are chewing a lot of debris and broken stuff right now. No, I didn't say anything. What? Sorry, you have to speak up if you need anything. Oh, we don't mind if I keep trying to stop this thing from overheating. This seems to be one of the manned power nodes. The display on the machine says responsible engine by Jean? Jean? Power node. Alarm started 3 powered. Okay, so this was actually the last one to go down. Programmer Aaron, everything alright down here? The network area sustained minimal damage from the outage, so that's good. But our colleagues in the power nodes were both brought to the hospital. I couldn't reach either of them. Seems like they don't have access to their PDAs. I hope they'll recover very soon. I'm sure they will. Everyone seems to be really tight down here. We've all pulled each other out of various dangerous places by the legs at some point. That tends to bond people. Engineer Ford, what's the status down here? Actually, you got through the power outage more or less unscathed here in the network area. It took a while for everything to boot back up, but it seems operational. We're still running diagnostics and it's looking good. Seems like Arjun and Tijan got hurt though. I heard, I'm sorry. Get where I need to go. Going up. Go to medical. Try 0. Stella, what the hell is going on? Lewis. Why did you throw me back in here? Lewis, I had nothing to do with that decision. I got knocked out cold. I know, I was there. I'm glad you're back up on your feet. But I want to see what's going on out there. I want to help. The first person to come in here today. Can you please let me out? I won't go against my sergeants on this. I know you were cooperating, but this whole ordeal is far from resolved. Fine. Can I at least get my rations? I'm starving. Of course. I'm sorry they kept you waiting. There's a lot going on. I'm putting a notice out right now. Have you heard from Xena? They told me she's okay. Good. I need you to stay put here. We're working things out as fast as possible. If you know anything that could speed up our investigation, now's the time to tell me. I told you everything. Whiny little baby. Planning a coup and he's like, why is everybody mad at me? Please, Justina. I'm sorry, I can't. Our resources are stretched too thin already. We can't help with your pet when human lives are on the line. He's not just a pet to me, he's family. Stella, you have to back me up here. I need medicine for Kimmy. The Coda states clearly that our medicine is only meant for humans in the first place. Be grateful for the exceptions we made in the past. We cannot afford to make another one today. Oh, I'm a lover of animals, though. Jin, give her the medicine, please. Thank you. Thank you. Fine, but you're bearing the consequences if we run out. We'll pick them up at the front desk, Leona. I have to get back to work. Okay, thank you so much. Excuse me, can I ask you something? Yes, of course. Are you the chief? Oh, yeah, yes I am. And you're Elliot, right? Eric's son? That's so cool that you're the chief. I want to be chief someday. Well, can I? Who knows? You never know what the future brings. Maybe you'll get your chance to become chief someday. What are you doing here anyway, Elliot? Did you get hurt? Because of the thing when the lights went out? No, I only have some scratches. I need to see Dr. Yaha because of my condition. Your condition? Gives me my medicine every other day or else I can't breathe right. Oh, I'm sorry to hear that. Okay, she always tells me a new story so it doesn't get boring. On that note, she's waiting for you in the examination room. Okay, goodbye. Poor boy. What's the diagnosis exactly, if I may ask? A complex problem that we didn't really have back on Earth. He would probably be completely fine in a planetary atmosphere. It's a genetic disease we dubbed interstellar dystrophy. Dystrophy? Interstellar dystrophy? A handful of people on the ship are affected. Is there anything we can do? I'm afraid not. We tried everything we can think of. We're hoping for some breakthrough research from Earth in this year's Arrival Day transmission, but we were disappointed. Engineer Tijan? Oh, Chief. How do you feel? I had better days for sure. I was at work when the ring slammed me into a wall and I blacked out. Did it really come to a full stop? I'll get back down to the power node as soon as I can to run some diagnostics. Do you have any idea what happened? That's what I'm trying to find out. You haven't heard anything about Arjun, have you? No, what do you mean? I think I saw them wheel him into one of those rooms over there earlier. He seemed really hurt. But I'm not completely sure. I was still a little out of it. Let's see if I can find him. One more thing. I believe that some power nodes in the inner hall are manned and some are unmanned. Correct. I'm working B and D, and Arjun is working A and C. Oh wait. I'm working B, and Arjun is working D. A and C are unmanned. Does it make any difference I should be aware of? Only that unmanned nodes provide a readout of recent activity. Arshan and I can tell you what went down on the other two. That's my PDA, or rather was, from the looks of it. Must have gotten smashed when I hit the wall. I'll get back to the power node as soon as I can and see if it still works. We all know humans have destroyed their planet in a number of ways, which is why we set out to destroy a brand new one. One of those ways being the climate catastrophe we've all heard so much about. But how many of you have actually read through Earth's materials on its history? Another drunken public history lesson. Well, I've read everything on the subject, including the stuff between the lines. One of the biggest lies ever told to the people of Earth was that each of them was personally responsible for protecting this planet. I mean, this was technically true, just not in the way people were led to believe. The powers that be convinced everyone that they had to adjust their personal lifestyles to protect the Earth's fragile ecosystem. But it was just a diversion from everyone's real responsibility, holding the powers that be responsible instead. No amount of individual action could put a dent in the problem. Pushing for systematic change was the only real way to avoid the crisis. But individual action offered people an out, the illusion of being part of the solution and not the problem. Not only did it provide them with a clean conscience, but also a reason to feel superior to their neighbor who didn't do as much. Divide and conquer, all part of the plan hatched by those in power. You know, those few who could actually affect change, if only they didn't profit way too much off the status quo. But I guess people on Earth at least got some voting rights along with all their supposed responsibilities. Thank you for this fascinating look into Earth's history, Michiu. Now, if you could get off that counter before you fall and get hurt. Is that a threat, Chief? Of course not. Being concerned for your safety is quite literally my job. Sounds more like your job is quite literally to control me. Fine, do what you want. If you fall on your thick skull and end up wasting our medical resources. Then what, Chief? Aaron, don't touch that. You said we're picking everything up from the floor. Not the cut cables. You'll get yourself electrocuted. I help you, Chief. Actually, you can help me. Darren, the Chief said The Chief said she's going to lock you away if you touch that again. Nuh-uh. She did. Oh, we are. We should go back to the lab soon. On the other hand, Darren hasn't been this excited about a task in a while. Oh. just circled all the way around. Okay, I can't go this way. Yes, we scan. Put that suit to use. I found this little display saying that you work at Power Node B. That's right. Is there something more specific you want to ask me about? About these large rods in the middle of the power node rooms. They receive and distribute the power to the respective part of the ship. The two unmanned ones provide a log of all nodes' recent activity. If the screen on the rod is black, does it mean that node is inactive or broken? Not necessarily. They're frequently turned off and may break or yet disconnect independently. Right now, the rods in all 4 nodes are certainly back up and running. How do you know? Because no parts of the ship are currently unpowered, from what I've heard. It was pitch black in the room as soon as my node failed. A warning popped up on the screen and suddenly it went out entirely. Did you catch what it said? It reported a node failure, or maybe multiple. In other words, 1 or more nodes failed before yours? Correct. Do you know anything else about the order of the events during the power outage? I'm afraid not, Chief. Okay, well, I can't talk to the one guy. The one manning D. Okay, well, if D is manned and C is not, it would make sense if C was the culprit, right? But I can't confirm that unless I talk to the guy, so unless I'm just guessing. Take a look. Alright. 1, 2, 3. So this was the third one to shut down. B was the last one to shut down. I'm gonna say that it was C, right? That would be the one that makes sense. Unless the guy that was manning... Navigator Noel and Engineer Eric, what are the two of you doing down here? Hey Chief, just trying to get to the bottom of the problem with the navigation. The system isn't letting us do things that we should be able to do. Why are you fixing it here? We hit a wall attempting to fix it up in the navigation room, so now we're trying something more fundamental down here. Quite complicated to explain, but it's a shot in the dark, honestly. Well, fingers crossed. Must have been a hard hit, because there's so many things that are damaged. I don't know. Part of me wants to go with C, because why would D hurt himself? That doesn't make I'm gonna commit to it. I'm gonna say C. hospital. I guess go back to the Did I miss him somewhere? Yes. Apparently I can't talk to him. Right. I'm sticking with my idea that it's C. I mean, why would he hurt himself? If he hadn't been hurt and he banned it, then I would question him. But I see you submitted your case. I forwarded them to Sergeant Paul. Let's hope it helps. Go to your bunk and try to get some rest. My bunk, Captain. There's nothing else you can do at the moment. It's important that you be back at full health as soon as possible. We will evaluate your results now. I'll call you immediately if anything of importance happens. And understood, Captain. Oh, no shiny ship. What the? Stella? What are you doing here? What are you doing in my bunk, Ava? I'm sorry. I think this is a big misunderstanding. My place got completely wrecked when the thing happened. I was told that this bunk was empty and I can stay here until everything was sorted out. So I was granted access? Oh, yeah, I see. I was supposed to move into the chief's bunk weeks ago. I guess that's why they thought this one was free. Sorry for jumping like this. I'm a little paranoid due to recent events. It's okay. Everything's fine. I'm sorry for the confusion. I'll tell Richard I need another bunk. No, wait. You can stay in my dad's bunk. It's right above mine. That's nice of you. Thanks. I'll request access. Of course. How are you holding up, Stella? About as well as you'd think. Everything's a shit show, and I feel responsible for fixing it. And you? I'm fine. Listen, you don't need to bear all that responsibility alone. I think there are better ways we could... Hang on. Where's Chi-Chi? Chi-Chi? I didn't see her. Oh no. She wasn't in here when I arrived, I swear. I think the door wasn't properly closed. Maybe it came loose during the instant? Must have run away again. I hope she's okay. Help me keep an eye out, will you? Sure. Can't I just catch a break for a... Sorry, I'm getting a call. Oh, I'll get out of your hair. Sorry for the intrusion. I'll be upstairs if you want to talk, okay? Thank you, Ava. Captain? If I'm afraid there is no time to rest after all. Please come see me in the conference room on the bridge as soon as you can. You find out what caused the outage? Let's talk in person. Captain Talia, I came as fast as I could. Thank you, Chief. Why are we meeting here? I need to talk to you alone. The sergeants evaluated your assessment of the power outage. You were right. Power node C started the chain reaction. Knowing this, we were able to determine the reason. The ship's engine has been turned on. What? The ship was not equipped to perform a maneuver without any preparation. The engine hasn't been used in over 30 years. Perform a maneuver? We have changed course. The engines are still running. We are slowly accelerating and changing our trajectory. Why? Why aren't we changing it? Because the navigators are locked out of their own system. At first, they were completely unable to even boot it up. Now they can see what's happening, but they're unable to do anything. It's kind of glitch. Not a glitch. The system has been hacked. The program maneuver will end tomorrow. Once it's complete, we'll be headed toward a different star. Different star? Why? What's there? Nothing. But it's a lot closer. We would be entering its gravitational pull in just about 3 years. Can we course correct back to yours tomorrow after the maneuver is finished? We don't know yet if the system will let us back in at that point. But even if it does, it'll be too late. We'll need almost all the fuel we still have to decelerate. If we allow the ongoing maneuver to finish, we won't have enough fuel to course correct and to brake. We'd be able to just do one. We either arrive at the wrong star, or we overshoot the right one. Chief, I need you to understand what this means. This maneuver will only possibly in a very small window of time. This is premeditated sabotage of the mission that may have been planned for years. Whoever did this not only has intimate knowledge of our systems, but they were also able to calculate and perform a complex maneuver. Do you think they knew it would cause this disastrous power outage? Maybe not. That part did not need to happen for their plan to succeed. Seems more like an accidental byproduct. There's a complex series of steps we usually have to take to prepare an engine start. The hacker either didn't know about that, or they weren't able to pull it off for a lack of time, skill, accomplices. Whatever the reason, we believe they were hoping the maneuver would stay undetected for as long as possible. The engine is set to a very, very gentle burn. The change in gravity is almost unnoticeable. But there are signs of our sideways momentum that people will notice eventually. Planted water in a tank, a ball rolling down the hall, people tripping over their feet. Oh, I thought my balance was off because of head trauma. Listen. This will be the most important assignment of your career. Our navigators are trying everything to regain control over the engine, but they would not give me any reassurances. The hacker is the only person who knows how to undo this. You need to find them and make them talk before it's too late. If we do not course correct by the same time tomorrow, our mission fails. Do you have any leads whatsoever? The hack might have been perpetrated by the descendants we were already investigating. Timing cannot be coincidental. Talk to your sergeants at the security office to follow up on this. But we do have another lead. The perpetrator must have been in the navigation room to go through with the attack. In fact, they must have been there in the minutes before the power went out. There's no signs of forced entry, so our prime suspects are the people who have access to that room. This includes navigators Noella, Orland, and Joseph. At least some of them should be there right now. Engineers Eric and Asher also have access, but I don't know their status or whereabouts since the incident. I've granted you access to the navigation room. Have a look around in there and talk to the navigators. They know that I'm briefing you right now and are instructed to help, but don't forget that we can't rule them out as suspects. Outside of them and your sergeants, you are to keep contents of the entire meeting to yourself. Understood. Understood, Captain. That will be all. Let me know immediately when you make any progress. Well,
As I exited the conference room, 1,000 questions started forming in my head. If the hackers' sole intention had been to divert the ship, why did they specifically set course to the Otis system? Were they planning to orbit the star for the rest of time? I immediately felt that Talia wasn't telling me the whole truth, but I knew that prying would have been pointless. She had a habit of tightly controlling the flow of information, and in most instances, it was probably wise and well-intentioned. I would get my answers soon enough anyway.
Gee, there you are. Come here, girl. What's the matter? Where are you going? Ugh, great. She must be really scared. I'll run into her again. It's probably going to take a few attempts to calm her down. Alright, before I pop in here as I see the game save, I think I'll stop here. Thank you so much for keeping me company, and we'll continue on to figure out what the story is.